What's up, everybody? Today we are going to perform a full body workout, starting with some foam rolling. You can, if you're watching on the YouTube channel, you can skip ahead to the stretching or dynamic warm-up portion of the exercises. And once we are done with that, we are going to get into our strength workout. So let's get started. Turn this down. We're going to start with the calves and ankles. First, putting the roller right above the heel and relaxing the leg as I press down. So the goal of this here is to basically help you feel a little bit better in your stretches, in your warm-up phase. You're going to feel a lot better after rolling things out, just like you would with a massage. What we're doing is called self-myofascial release. I'm pressing down into the roller side to side and up and down. I'm looking for some sweet spots or some spots of tension. Now, pain could mean that I just worked out the day before. Pain could mean there's a serious issue there. Pain could just mean you have a low tolerance of pain. So depending on what you feel, you should feel a good push into the muscle like you're getting a massage on a 7 to 10 scale of rating. So a 10 meaning it really hurts. 6 meaning you can feel it, but not really. You want really a 7 feeling. Okay, 8 getting into maybe a little bit more pain. So trying to go for a 7 out of 10. And if you can't find anything, you either have just really relaxed muscle tissue tone, really relaxed tendons, or you need to strengthen those areas. So if you don't feel anything when you're pressing into the muscles, that could be a sign that you need to work those muscles. If you feel pain, that means that you either just worked out the day before or you got some serious issues going on in there. Now we're going to go to the glutes. I have my left leg crossed over my right thigh, and then I'm going to lean into that area. I'm pushing into the hip rotators here. So whenever I stretch out my hip rotators, I want to make sure that I roll them before and then I activate them after that process. So it's a 3-step process: roll, stretch, activate, and then get into your power and your strength exercises. So starting with the calves, now we're working in our hips. Let's go to the other hip. Again, looking for any tension. Rolling up, down, side to side, and then focusing on your breathing throughout this whole process. In through the nose, long exhales out, finding areas of tension, holding those areas of tension, breathing in those areas of tension, finding that 7 out of 10 threshold. I can also extend the knee and get more glute max, the bottom butts, and then you can get the side piriformis, glute med more when you have the leg crossed. Okay, now working to the lower back. I'm just going to put the roller underneath my lower back. Oof. Get into a bridge position, but I'm not pushing my legs into the ground. I'm just relaxing the roller on the lower back here. And then my knees are just going to windshield wiper very slowly side to side. Focusing on my exhale, on my rotation. Inhale at the center. Exhale as I rotate. Feel the pressure in the lumbar spine or the lower back. This is where your erectors are, your QL is, your multifidus, all these thoracic lumbar junction muscles and fascia and tissue. So this area can get pretty tight, stuck long. So we just kind of maneuver each side. And then I'm going to place one foot underneath the opposite leg. And then I'm going to roll toward that area. I should feel it in that side. Take an inhale here. Exhale. And then switching side. Inhale. Exhale. And that's it for the lower back. I'm going to roll up, sit up, and then place the roller on my mid back, right below my scapula. I'm going to cross my arms across my chest, plant my feet, and I'm going to tuck my chin, and I'm going to extend my back over the roller, allow my neck to extend, and then crunch forward. I'm going to do that 5 times here. Inhale on the way back. And exhale up. 2 more. 1 more. From here, I'm just going to protract my scapula, so reaching toward the ceiling as far as I can. And then I'm going to roll into each scapula here. I'm going to roll one side to the other, pressing into the muscles in the scap. I can even roll up and down, but I want to keep my arms internally rotated and protracted. So bring in the palms facing the ceiling. And just focusing on the breathing. After that, I'm going to go for the lats. Also, a little bit of the post-del, the teres major and minor, and then the infraspinatus, and a little bit of the supraspinatus. Okay, so your rotator cuff muscles here, your post-del and your lats, your serratus anterior and posterior, your rib cage, all areas here that we're going to press into. From here, I'm going to relax into the chest. And then relax into the back. And then I'm going to roll up into the shoulder, down into the rib cage. Arms overhead, interlace the fingers, and just pressing into those areas about 5 times. And then switching to the other side. I like to join my legs, bend my knees. Sometimes I will cross my legs like that just to get a little bit more stability. And so I can rotate a little bit easier. If you have one area that has a little bit more sensation, you may want to spend more time in that area, just trying to relax into those areas of tension. This here, the reason why we're doing this is to loosen up the shoulders so you can get your arms overhead, so that you can press overhead and so that you can pull overhead. Okay, so you have vertical pulling and pushing movement, pushing overhead, pulling overhead, that if you don't have the range of motion or mobility, then you're going to start using your lower back and getting more of a anterior pelvic curve in your spine, which shifts your posture long term. So we don't want to be lifting in bad positions. So the reason why we do this foam rolling to start is really to loosen up the muscles a little bit, understand the tightness of all of our muscles before we begin. So kind of like a quick assessment / measurement. And then spending areas on tension or muscles that may feel a little bit more, you know what I mean? If there's an area that feels just kind of like a sweet spot, like you have one area in your whole body, that's probably the area that you want to spend the most time on. All right, now we're going to move to the quads. So just get into a forearm plank position over the roller. I'm going to face my feet out, so that way I can really get the vastus medius and some of the adductors. I'm going to roll down to the knees and just roll mid-thigh to knees here. Try not to let my hips drop too much. Keep my hips up as I just roll forward, up and down the thighs. Then I'm going to get the outside of the thighs, cross that top leg in front, go from knee to hip, I can also press into the front of the hip where my TFL muscle is right there. You'll feel it. It's the size of a sponge on the front of the hip. And you can press into both sides. So I'll show you what it looks like on this side, right there, front of the hip, right where your pocket is. About the size of a sponge. You'll feel it if you want to move your leg around. You'll feel it stick out when you start rotating that hip. It's called your TFL, your tensor fasciae lata. Then we're going to get the outside of the hip, cross the leg over, go from knee to hip, and then from this position you can go from outside of the thigh to front of the thigh, and then you can start working the inside of the thigh from the hips all the way to the knee. Okay, and again, rolling the tissues. Why? Helps it relax. You're going to feel better. You're going to prepare that tissue a little bit better than just getting into your workout immediately. So a very slow progression toward your workout as opposed to just getting right into it. So, spending a little bit more time on a warm up. So let's see how long that took us. All right. So that took us 11 minutes. So not too bad. So only about 10 minutes. That's all you really want to spend at most rolling. If it's a movement specific day, then 10 to 20 minutes is probably okay. Okay, so that's not bad. So we're on track. So now we're going to get into our stretching. Okay, I did write it on the board. We're going to start with some supine exercises. So exercises on your back. We're going to start with that hip rotator. We talked about rolling the hip. Well, now we're going to stretch the hip. So we rolled this hip out. And now we're going to stretch it in that same manner. So I'm going to see where my knee ends up. I want to push my knee forward. I should feel maybe a stretch in the hip here. And then from this position, just going to relax, breathe into that. Exhale out through the mouth, inhale through the nose. I should feel a 360 expansion in the belly here. So the stretches, I really want to focus on my breathing techniques, not necessarily just holding the exercise. So from here, I also can build tension and isometric contraction. So turning this into a strength exercise as well as a stretch. So how can I do that? I can push my knee forward, and then I can also try to press my knee toward my hand to create an isometric contraction or PNF stretch. And then I can relax. So about a 5-second press, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then relax. I could also bring the foot off the ground, and then I can actively try to press this knee forward, turning this into an active isolated stretch, and then relax, about 5-second holds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, and switch. So first, generally you want to stretch for about 15 to 30 seconds with slow inhales and exhales. Okay, so about 3 to 5 inhales and exhales. Some of you might be able to do one whole breath in 30 seconds, but trying to inhale and exhale evenly or longer exhales. From here, pressing the knee into my hand, hand into the knee. Relax. Again. Relax. And then actively bringing the legs off the ground and trying to press that knee forward, getting an active isolated stretch. Just trying to squeeze this glute as I push the knee forward. Relax. Again. And relax. From here, I can just clap my knees. Knees go out and in just to relax everything. Get ready for my next exercise, which will be the hamstring stretch, which laying on my back. I'm going to try to press my calf and my knee into the ground. So try not to have anything underneath, maybe a little bit underneath the knee. From here, I'm going to hold on to the back of the thigh. And then I'm going to extend the knee. Try to make a 90-degree angle here. and keep my bottom toe pointed up toward the sky. I'm going to point this top foot here toward the back of the room. Look up, hold, inhale and exhale. And from here, I'm going to rotate at the ankle all the way around. 1 circle, 2 circles. Try not to miss any edges of the circle, and then all the way down and around from 6 o'clock all the way to 12, all the way around, just like you're going around the clock each way. Then we're going to hold on to the hamstring. We're going to bend the knee, rotate the foot in, and then extend the knee. We're going to rotate that foot out, bend the knee, rotate the foot in, and then extend the knee. And then we're going to try the same thing on the other side. So extend the bottom knee, hold on to the back of the thigh, the top leg, extend that knee, point that top toe toward the wall behind you, bottom toe toward the ceiling. Focus on your inhale and exhale. Inhale through the nose, exhale out through the mouth. From here, circle the ankle all the way around the clock, 2 times each way. And then you're going to rotate around the clock the other way 2 times. After that, we're going to bend the knee, externally rotate, extend, internally rotate, and bend, out, and up, in, and down. Okay? Now from there, we're going to go into some activation exercises while we're here. So we're going to go to a bridge exercise. We're going to point those toes up. Our knees are going to be not too close to the glutes, but not too far away, right in the middle. And then I'm going to squeeze my glutes so that my shoulders are in line with my knees here. From here, I'm going to hold. Don't let my knees go out or too far in, right in line with the hips and knees and feet. I'm going to hold for about 10 to 15 seconds as I squeeze the glutes and drive those toes toward the ceiling. And then I'm going to slowly relax down. Same thing. Just engage the glutes here. I'm going to inhale through the nose. Long, forceful exhale like you're blowing out through a straw. Inhale, keep everything nice and still as you hold here. And then long exhale. Good. One more. But this time we're going to have one knee in, pulling toward the chest to start. I'm going to try to keep this knee here. And we're going to bring our arms back out next to our sides. Drill that heel into the ground as you press those hips toward the sky and hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Slowly come down. Then we'll switch. Same thing. Up, hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then slowly come down. From here, knees go apart. And then we're going to bring those feet as wide as you can. And then let those knees kind of swing inward. You feel a stretch where that sponge muscle, TFL muscle was. From here, we're going to perform a shoulder slide. So we're going to bend the elbows at a 90 degrees, or kind of like a W here. Have my knees bent. I'm going to press my heels into the ground and curl my tailbone underneath so my hips are slightly elevated off the ground, maybe almost just like a paper size underneath my hips here. I'm going to W my arms. Make sure you have a surface you can slide your arms overhead and not get caught. I'm going to curl the hips, squeeze the glutes, press my heels into the ground, W the arms here. Trying to arch my back. I shouldn't be able to bring anything underneath my back here. It should be flat and almost off the ground. My hips curled, glutes engaged. From here, I'm going to press and exhale overhead. Keep my back flat as I exhale and inhale. And then exhale, reach overhead. And try to keep contact with the wrist, forearm, elbow, shoulder, and tricep. Inhale down, and then exhale overhead. Inhale down, and exhale overhead. From here, we're gonna go with some leg lowers. So we're first going to flex the hips at 90 degrees, and knees are bent at 90 degrees. We're gonna reach the arms toward the ceiling. From here, we're gonna get the scaps off the ground, and then we're gonna look straight at the ceiling. We're gonna exhale, one leg will extend and hover off the ground. We're gonna hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, back, center, and then switch. Hold, hover off the ground, 5, 4, 3, 2, back to center. Now we're gonna reach with the opposite and hold, 5, 4, 3, 2, back to center. Reach with opposite, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we're gonna reach overhead with both arms. We're gonna extend one leg and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Back to center. Switch. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're gonna bring arms out front. We're gonna extend both legs and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now this time both arms and legs, and we're gonna hold for 10 seconds. And go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and relax. All right, now we're gonna go into a McGill sit-up. So little arch in the back this time is okay. So you can look for an arch, make sure you're not too flat. We're gonna extend one knee, and then from here, we're going to bring our head off the ground and focus on tightening the core by exhaling hard. Inhale through the nose. Head is elevated off the ground about 2 inches. And I want you to just try to feel your core as you perform your deep exhales. If there's pain in the neck, then you can just bring the head down and hold for shorter periods of time. You want to be able to hold for about 10 seconds and then bring it back down. Okay, so we're going to come up, hold, inhale through the nose, long exhale. One more. Come back down, and then you can repeat those as reps, like 3 to 6 reps, 2 to 3 times per day. It's going to help with some back pain issues, as long as you're not feeling that in your neck. From here, getting into a side plank position, you get into either a side plank, long leg, or short leg position. Short leg is almost as hard as the long leg. Okay, if you do it right, you have to squeeze that bottom glute into the ground as you hold this position in that side plank. Okay, if you're doing it with both legs, you get a little bit more leverage with the elbow, and you get a full side effect as well. So choose your option. We'll hold for 30 seconds, or sorry, 2 inhales, 2 exhales. Try to get your head in line with the mid-torso, not like this and not like this. Okay, and then we'll switch side. Now we're going to make our way to hands and knees. So we're going to start with our adductor stretch. So knees will go wide. We're going to bring our forearms down toward the ground. We're going to press those knees into the ground and then relax. Widen the knees, press the knees into the ground, and then relax. And then you can shift here, shoulders side to side, feel a little bit more of a stretch when you go each way. Then from here, I want to try to get vertical, okay, with my hands. And then I'm going to extend one leg out. On an exhale, inhale, exhale, rock back, inhale forward, exhale back. And then I'm gonna switch side. So just about 2 rock backs, because we've already been here a while. Just turning this from passive to dynamic. Good. From here, we're gonna go back to hands and knees. What do we got next? Hip flexor. So we're gonna go hands and knees and then half kneeling. Okay, pretend that you're on a railroad track. Hands at the hips. And from here, we're just gonna squeeze that back glute, tuck that pelvis, and just try to get the head in line with the hips here. Stand up nice and tall. Make sure we're not bringing that foot all the way out or in. So it's right behind the knee. And then switch side. I'm just squeezing this back glute. You should feel a stretch down that hip flexor. Or the front of the hip here. You can also reach up if you want a little bit more. And we'll try the other side, same thing. So opposite hand forward, then the foot that's forward. Okay, and that's a way that you can get a little bit more out of that stretch. From here, we'll go into our bird dog, downward dog, child pose. So hands and knees, hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, feet behind the knees. Okay. From here, I'm gonna reach with opposite leg and arm, squeeze and hold, make a fist, look straight down. About 2 inhales, 2 exhales. You should be able to control that without any shaking. You should be able to hold that with a lot of confidence through those breaths. And then we're going to try the other side. Okay, you can hang out about 2 to 3 inhales, 2 to 3 reps for that if you're trying to continue that with reps during a workout, but more of a activation exercise here. From here, downward dog, hands are a little bit wider than shoulder. Hands go out just slightly, feet are hip width distance, and then we're gonna bring those hips up, head through the shoulders. Here, this is our downward dog. You're gonna breathe and hold. Getting the calves, hamstrings here. Also upward scapular elevation here and retraction. We're also focusing on the overhead mobility, stability, and strength. Can also work on our neck mobility by turning both ways, looking up and around, and then we're coming back down. Okay, from here, I like to generally just sit back on the heels and rock side to side just to see how the ankles feel. A couple of exhales and inhales. See how the wrists feel as well, if you want. If it's super tight, maybe hold a little bit longer. Okay, then from here, child pose, wide knees, toes touch, forehead and bridge and nose touch, thumbs up. Inhale through the nose. And then long exhale out through the mouth. Try to inhale into the upper back. Those ribs there, exhale it out. From here, you can press those arms into the ground if it doesn't cause pain. And then relax, make a fist, same thing. Press down, relax. Then you're gonna press just your right arm down. Now just your left arm down. Now we're going to place the palms down. Going to push down with the right arm and lift up with the left arm. And then switch. And then switch. And then switch. And then we're going to make a W. Make a fist, thumbs up. One arm goes up, one arm stays down. and then switch, and then switch. One more. Now working those shoulders a little bit. All right, so now we're gonna get into our strength mobility aspect, starting with a push-up position. So we're gonna get into a push-up position, really focus on a perfect push-up position. So hands are underneath the shoulders, feet are gonna be almost touching, and we're gonna have protracted shoulders, rounded upper back, and a posterior pelvically tilted hip. So the glutes will be squeezed here. So this would be anterior pelvic tilt. This is gonna be posterior pelvic tilt, okay? This is shoulders or scaps protracted. Here, shoulders, scaps retracted. So pushing away from the ground. Knees extended, not bent, okay? And the hips are in line with the head. They're not too high, and they're not too low. Then we're in our perfect push-up position. We're gonna look straight down between the thumbs. Slowly lower down. If we need to lean forward, that's fine for our shoulders. And then exhale up. So inhale down. Try not to jet the head forward on the way down. Try to keep your ears in line with your shoulders, like you're being measured. And you only need about 2 or 3 to really feel that. Otherwise, you might start getting some wrist issues. Okay. From that, we're going to go into a reverse table. So bringing those feet forward, putting a little bit more stress on the shoulders in extension, and bring those hips up toward the ceiling by squeezing those glutes. And if that is too much on the wrists, we can just get out of this position here. Otherwise, we're going to try to hold it for about 10 seconds. Focus on those long exhales. Inhale through the nose. And then slowly bring it down. From here, we'll go to our Spider-Man. So hands and knees position. You're going to step one foot outside the hand. Extend that back leg as far back as possible. And then you're going to see if you can bring the elbow down that's closest to that leg. And then we're going to rotate up toward the sky. And then back down. And then we're going to go ahead and switch. We don't need to spend too much time here. Big exhales. Elbow down. And open up. Elbow down. And open up. All right. Next and last is going to be our V stance rotation. We're going to stand up, wide feet. Use some blocks if you need them on the ground, or some type of yoga block or foam roller. We're going to bring one hand down, open up, look toward the ceiling, turn the head toward the ceiling first. Inhale through the nose, long exhale. And we're going to reach up or bring the hand behind the head. Don't want to be pushing the head forward either. Inhale and exhale in this position here. All right. A lot of people want to get into this position and hold their breath. It's really important to focus on your exhales and keep rotating as you exhale. Make sure that your neck is turning up toward the ceiling. Woo! Okay, it's really important to hold those positions and breathe into those tough spots, especially those rotational positions that it's hard to hold and manage those stresses. Okay, now let's go ahead and grab some water, get ready for some dynamic. Put some shoes on if you need to. Take about a minute or two break, and I can answer any questions if you have any. All right. far as supplements go, definitely you should take creatine. If you can take glutamine, that's great too. Any type of amino acids, protein, is going to be beneficial for growing muscle, obviously. Getting to 1 gram per kilogram of body weight of protein per day. So if you're 200 pounds, trying to get 200 grams of protein if you're seriously trying to gain a lot of muscle. But if you can get half that, it's probably 75% the battle. I mean, even I don't get 200 grams of protein per day. If I was bodybuilding, I would have to get upwards to that amount if I wanted to compete, on a national stage. So that just depends on your goals. But I say if you get anywhere from 60 to 120 grams of protein per day, you're probably doing okay. But you don't want to go underneath 40 grams per day, or you're going to be really depleting your body of muscle protein synthesis, which you need protein in order to do that. If you don't have it, you then waste protein. In essence, you waste muscle. So that's why you have to have protein in your diet when you're strength training or any type of training. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the dynamic warm-up. Let's see where we are time-wise. We probably spent a little bit too much time, but that is okay. These are instructional videos, so you can always stop watching. You can rewind, you can fast forward, you can do whatever you want. All right, so we're gonna just flip it into high gear by getting into some pogo jumps. So pogo jumps is just like your jumping rope, stiff legs, so we're not yielding. These are buoyant jumps. Okay, buoyant jumps are quick and snappy. And then you have your yielding jumps that are a little bit slower and more of a eccentric focus. So we're going to start with those pogo jumps. Try and think that you're jumping rope, and then we're going to jump rope as we move forward. Those arms can stay at about 90 degrees. Kind of lift the body as you jump. Really point those toes on the way up. Okay, sometimes people don't point the toes and start landing directly on the heel. We don't want that. This is more of a fore and midfoot exercise than it is landing on the heels. So what we'll do is, if you've done those already, that's great. We're just gonna do those one more time, and we're gonna do them side to side after that. So here we go. I'm just gonna go for about 6 seconds of these exercises and then a quick break. Here we go. Okay, that's about 6 seconds. Now we're just gonna jump side to side. Again, 6 seconds. Okay, now we're gonna do that on one leg, moving forward. So pogo, one leg hops forward, and then switch. Okay, and then we're gonna go side to side on one foot. And other foot, about 3 seconds for this. Okay, then we're gonna move to our bound or skater jump, moving side to side, trying to land on your big toe on the inside edge of that foot instead of the outside edge of that foot. So here's the outside edge, here's the inside edge, okay? We'll go 5 on each side. That back leg is going to swing up and around. Okay. Then you can progress this by going forward 45 degrees or even backward 45 degrees. And then obviously just side to side. So we're going to do 3 on each side. Left, left, right, right. Alternating, so I'll go left to right, right to left. Swinging the arms opposite, okay? So if I end up with my right foot forward, I want my left arm forward, thumb under chin. 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. Okay? That's probably enough plyos and jumps. We don't want to overdo it. Okay? About 20 to 50 is probably on our radar there that we probably got on each foot, maybe a little bit more, but just don't want to overdo it. Next, we're going to go into some other movements, kind of wind us down movements. So a knee pull, but we want that bottom foot to press into the ground. So we get plantar flexion, knee extension, and hip extension. Okay. Same thing if we were to do jump. Okay. So passive modality, nonetheless, has good benefit. Then we can perform a leg cradle, wrap around the knee, over top of the ankle, pull toward the chest. Okay, and we have our heel to butt, reach and hinge, and then switch. Okay, so right hand, right foot, reach to the left, hinge, stand up, step, switch. About 2 or 3 on each side. Okay, and we have our side-to-side shuffle, pushing off the outside leg as we travel inward. Okay, and as we travel outward, pushing off that inside leg. Okay, so if I'm moving to my right, I'm going to push off with my left foot, left hip as well, left medial glute. It's going to help push off. Okay, looking forward as I perform lateral shuffles. I'll move to the edge of my location or training zone and then move back, trying to keep those feet forward. Okay, so now we've moved laterally, both on doing our pogos and our shuffles. Now we can rotate as we move laterally in our karaoke. Swinging those arms, keeping the upper body relaxed. As we rotate, it's a cross in front, step, cross behind, step. Front, back, front, back. Okay, I also like the crossover step to speed shuffle, so it's a okay. That's basically our dynamic warm-up. Then we can perform a little bit of upper body dynamic. So now we can perform the inchworm. Feet are about shoulder width distance. Hands to the knees, knees to the ankles. Walk the hands out as far as you can. And then walk the feet forward with those legs straight. And then stand up. That's your inchworm. feet wide, touch toes, hands walk out, overhead, feet move forward, knees straight. And stand up. All right. Now we're ready for our our power circuits and our strength circuits. So go ahead and grab a little bit of fluid. All right, so for our power, now that we're primed for our workout, now we can start our power exercises, and then we can perform our strength exercises. Our strength exercises will come in trisets, just like our power exercises will, meaning that we'll perform 3 exercises that reflect the nature of that component, which will be power. We'll perform 2 power exercises with a core exercise as a wind down exercise, and then we will perform our strength sets in a tricep manner, lower, upper body, then core, okay? All right. All right, so don't want to wear rings with med ball throws. Med balls, 6 to 8 pounds, 4 to 8 pounds is probably good. Something that when you bounce it, doesn't come springing back at your face. Something that you can throw at a wall or a box or the ground that doesn't just break apart, okay? So I'll perform the overhead med ball throw. Then I'm gonna show you the rotational med ball throw, and then the bent over med ball slam, followed by a core exercise, okay? I am using the core anterior chain when I go downward. I am also using it eccentrically to stabilize my body and not go too far forward as well. So there's a core component to the slams as well as a power component. For power exercises, we've done a lot of plyometrics, so that's why we're gonna perform med ball slams. So we don't need to add in jumps, box jumps here, because we've done enough jumping. So now we're going to do mainly upper body plyometrics, such as med ball throws, since we've already done lower body. Okay, you could do the same thing, intertwine those. You could also perform your hang cleans here, 1 arm snatches as well, or your trap bar deadlift jumps, or your squat jumps. So any type of explosive power exercise during the power circuits. Choose 2 or 3 power exercises, and you can triset that with a core or corrective exercise or stretch. All right, so our med ball slam, feet are about a little bit wider than shoulder width. Okay, I'm just gonna lift the ball overhead, slam down and catch. I wanna make sure that I don't extend my back and swing too far forward so that my head gets too close to the ball, okay? When I slam, I wanna stand straight up. I don't want to follow the ball down. Okay, so I slam, I stay standing. A lot of people will flex the spine with the body too much. So you want to have that control of flexion. So anti-flexion core exercise. We're going to go for 5 to 10 reps. Okay. Next will be our rotational med ball throw. For this exercise, I want pretty wide feet. The elbow will drive up in the air, and then we're going to rotate and throw the ball toward the box, okay? We're going to rotate and hit the box, okay? We go 5 on each side, and then we're going to go with our bent over med ball press to the ground. First, make sure you have enough energy. Don't overdo it. If you have to rest a little bit longer between power sets, that's perfectly fine. You probably should. But for the purpose of functional strength training, we don't have enough time to spend sitting around all day. Here we go. switch. With your slams, you want to think cues are to break the wall or break the ball, okay? So you're trying to slam it so hard that you just break everything. Then you know you're using maximal power. That's what we want to use when we train power. If we don't use that, we will lose that. You lose power more than you do strength or hypertrophy. So that's why it's really important to train power like speed, agility, sprinting, med ball slams, kettlebell swings. Those things are going to keep your power. Power is different than strength. Strength is different than muscle size. Those are all three different variables when you train, okay? And it has nothing to do with your zone 2 cardio either. Okay, that does not help power at all. Actually, you turn more type 2 or fat burning as you get older if you don't maintain your power. So that med ball, bend over, press, chest press or chest pass. It's gonna look just like that. You're gonna go for 5 to 8. Okay, if you're not moving as fast as you can, you're not power training, okay? We're gonna partner those exercises with a a lateral bear crawl. So I'll get into a hands and knees position, and then I'll get into a push-up position. And cross over a hand as I step to that side, step back to my original position. Cross over, step with the outside foot, back to the original position. And then I'm gonna continue that about 10 feet, 10 to 20 feet. Okay, that is upper body and core exercise. Kind of finish that power set. All right, so I'm just going to complete one power set with the med balls. I'm going to show you another power set with some squat jumps and a one-arm snatch. So for the squat jumps, I'm just going to hold on to this med ball. I'm going to squat down, lift up, and pull that ball into my chest, okay? Just to add a little bit of a athletic component to it. So this would be good for soccer goalies. I'm gonna go for 5 vertical jumps and we're using the med ball. Feet are about shoulder width. Start with the ready position, spring down a little bit more, and then propel yourself up. With the ball, you're gonna hold it and then reach overhead when I jump. Going for 5 reps. 2, 3. Okay, there's your squat jump. We're gonna couple that with your one-arm snatch. Okay, may want to rest a little longer, but for the snatch, hang right above the knee, then pull up like you're zippering your jacket. You're throwing the bell toward the ceiling and then going down the same way that you went up. So with an inhale, raise, exhale, down. right, there's your one arm snatch. And instead of doing the lateral bear crawl, we'll do the linear bear crawl, forward and backward. Hands and knees. And then we'll go elbow to wrist and then switch. And then we'll try to move backward. Elbow to wrist. And done. Done with our power set. Put the AC on now. Grab some water. Now we're moving to strength. Whew. So, strength exercises. We have first pod. Think 3 Ps on a pod. We're gonna do hip dominant single leg, horizontal row, and a rollout. I'll explain what those are in a bit. And after this pod, I'm gonna have to get some more liquid. All right, so we're gonna perform single leg hip lift with our elbows and shoulders elevated. Okay, this is a hip lift with our shoulders elevated. It's gonna be single leg, and we'll add in a sandbag. It's gonna be our first exercise. We're gonna go for 5 on each side. I'm gonna try to hold for about 3 seconds each rep. So the goal of this exercise is to strengthen the glutes, okay, or our hip extensors. We're gonna start with the bag on our lap, extend those knees. We're gonna dip down. Okay, be careful, or you can start in this position. From here, we're just going to tee out our arms on the bench, and then we're going to extend the hips or squeeze the glutes. So the hips are in line with our shoulders and ears. We're gonna hold for 5 seconds, and then slowly come down, tap, and then boom, hold, 5, 4, 3, 2, slowly bring it down. Up, hold, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down. Up, hold, 1, 2, 3, 4, down. Up, hold, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's our double leg bridge. Now we're gonna perform single leg bridge for 3 seconds. 3 reps each side. Okay, we're gonna pull the knee toward the chest and up. 1, 2, 3. Down. Up. 1, 2, 3. Down. Up. 1, 2, 3. Woo. And switch. Up. 1, 2, 3. Tap. 1, 2, 3. Tap. 1, 2, 3. Woo. Those are single leg hip dominant exercise. Now, upper body. We're going to perform a horizontal row with our bench since it's here. We'll grab a heavy dumbbell It's something that you can row 5 to 10 times, okay? For some of us, we want our arms extended, feet are very wide, arm reaching for the dumbbell, back is flat, looking straight down, okay? Now this is a pretty light weight for me, so I'm gonna go higher reps. I'm gonna go 12 reps. If you have heavy weight, go 5 to 8 reps. I'm gonna pull the wrist to the rib, hold, and then come down, right back up, hold. First 2 I want real controlled, and then the last remainder reps I'm just gonna go down and up. So it's gonna be a dynamic row. First 2 controlled, and then my last 10 there were pretty fast. So at a 1 ratio for all 3 phases. So it's a 1, 1, 1. Basically half a 1, really. Sorry, 2 controlled. Nine. Ooh. Ooh, yikes. Those are bad. Bad meaning good. All right, so now we have our ab rollout. You can do this with TRX, this with the exercise ball, and you do it with a ab wheel, you do it with a barbell. Lots of ways you can roll it out. All right, so I got the ab wheel, or you can just perform a forearm plank. I'll show you how to do that. For 5 inhales, 5 exhales. So you just hold this, inhale through the nose, long, forceful exhale out. That's also going to be prerequisite for this exercise. And good shoulder mobility, stability. All right, so ab rollout, like I said, core stability, shoulder stability, mobility. We're gonna roll it out, try to get our body in line with the ground, parallel, and then come right back up. Okay, going for 5 to 10 reps. So basically to failure, but technique first. So form to failure. Woo. That's our first set, or our first pod, and our first tri-set. So it's a lower body, upper body core exercise. And we perform those same 3 exercises. Okay, and then on our second set is when we're either going to challenge ourselves with either the most load for the day and for that specific exercise, or we can just keep the same flow if you feel like you're not feeling that well or up to it. So if you feel like you have the energy, your second set is where you want to add the load, prioritize, your weak spot training. So make sure that first exercise is going to be your hardest exercise of the day. So if you have poor pull-up ability, then you'd want that first. Okay, don't wait till your second phase or second pot of exercises, put your pull-up in, put that exercise first. Then the corresponding or the contrast to that, whatever that is. So if you start with upper body, then you do lower body, and then a core exercise. You keep all 3 of those in your pods of training. All right. So that means I could add in a little bit more weight here. Okay. I could hold the reps a little bit longer. Whatever you think is going to be the most value to you. Okay. I'm going to do 5 reps, single leg. Okay. I'm going to hold 3 to 5 seconds. So if you do about 5 times 4, 20 seconds holds, it's probably good. Way harder than the 3-second holds or the 3 right now. Next, go back to that 1-arm row. Now, what I'll do here, I think that first set for me was probably the overload set. So what I'll do, since I'm on my second set after my first exercise, is you have to kind of feel where you are fatigue-wise, making a good decision, not getting injured. So I'm gonna go 10 reps, 2 control, 8 fast. Yikes, that's bad. Whoa. Okay, add roll-ups. If you need 15, 30 seconds in between sets, it's fine. Woo. All right. Now I'm gonna get some liquid. Be right back. Nice. On to pod 2. We have a knee dominant single leg. We have an overhead press. We have a lateral Pallof press. Yikes. Woo. So we'll do a rear foot elevated split squat with a little bit of load. Just gonna go an elevation of about 8 inches. I don't really need more than that. As for weight, I'll decide on my second set how heavy I want to go. I'll start with a goblet for the Pallof. Good. And then we have our overhead press. So overhead press can be our landmine, or we can do a dumbbell, but we'll get there. All right. Start with that rear foot elevated split squat, knee dominant exercise. Start with the lower body, going upper body, then core. We're on our pod 2. Exercise number 1. Rear foot elevated split squat, goblet load, straight down, tap, and go. Okay. You can start in this position, okay? Might help. Think about your feet and knees being almost on the same line. Put about 2 inches apart. Going straight up and down. And switch. 5 reps on each side. Woo! The balance pad adds a little bit of a dynamic stability aspect. That back foot, usually it's grounded, so a little bit different there. Next is going to be our upper body overhead press. So how we'll do that is we could use landmine press, but today we'll use a dumbbell press. So we can take that same weight. We can do this in a half kneeling position. And we can do this one arm at a time, just like this. Okay. If we want to get off the knees, we can go standing with a slight split stance on that front leg. Okay, pressing with the opposite arm, trying not to extend the back as you press. Or feet can be in line and then a press overhead. Okay. All right. So press overhead. I like this arm out front because it lets you know if you're bending at the sides. You want it to be straight. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Woo! It's gonna get real spicy with the paddle off. So the paddle off can be done with a band or a cable. It's an anti-rotation and an anti-lateral flexion exercise. So when I do this, my body wants to rotate, and I'm controlling rotation, which is going to light up all your muscles. So training for stability here. You can train rotationally, but you also want to train with stability. So both are great. So we're going to push out, reach overhead, allow ourselves to side bend just a little, come back to center, reach out, pull in. Go 3 on each side. Push, overhead, pull. There's your paddle off the press, overhead, side bend. That one's a burner. That one's tough. Whew. So you can do goblet, rear foot elevated, split squat, or you can do a front loaded plate, front loaded barbell, whatever load you want to add. You want to add the most load, then you can go 2 dumbbells. Okay, that's what we're going to do. We're going to go 2 dumbbells and do 3 reps on each side. Now, if I really lack knee strength, I would have planned this exercise as my first exercise. Okay. If I wanted to really make sure that I wasn't going to injure myself, I might start with this exercise as well. Okay. Go 3 reps on each side. You can do the body weight, goblet squat, assisted with a bar or the wall in front of you, or some side bars, or as shown with 2 dumbbells. Maybe later in your progression in phases 3 to 6. You just got to get it done. You can't wait. Okay. Overhead press. We'll go heavy weight for 5 reps, starting with my left shoulder, which would be my weaker shoulder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Woo! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. 50-pound press. Whew. All right. Finishing it. Pedal off, press, overhead reach, and bend. Also, we can do some side steps. Yikes. That was pod 2. We're on to pod 3. So pod 3, we're hip down at single leg. We're going to use the cable. So that works. Single leg deadlift with cable. And we have a chin up, which I planned last, but I knew that. I knew I was going to go low rep. But I know I'd also be using force max strength there. So, and then a bear crawl. So we'll go basically lower body, upper body pull, and then a core with a little bit of upper body push. So this circuit's going to be real tough. Then we have an AMRAP set circuit of bodybuilding that we may get to. So if you get to the end of your workout and you're like, I still have more gas, more time, then you can do your accessory single joint movements, hip, shoulder, accessory muscles. If you want to do bicep and triceps, at that point it would be a good idea. If you want more size and you're taking creatine and you're recovering well and you are looking to grow, then you definitely want to be in a caloric surplus if that's going on, unless you're trying to lose weight and hold on to muscle, then you want high protein. All right. So we got our single leg reach, cable. Let's go ahead and start it up. Feet together to start. Keep them close together. Slide that leg all the way back. Try to stay on that bottom big toe. Stand up right away and pull hand to rib. Going for 8. Six. 7. 8. All right, so now with my chin up, underhand grip, it's gonna be better for the shoulder than the overhand grip. If you ever do a pull-up, make sure you go all the way down, all the way up, and you don't drive your body with momentum. If you are using your body as momentum or not able to extend the arms fully, then you need to try something simpler, like a resistance band pull-up, an eccentric pull-up, or just a lat pull down, cable Y pull down, or X pull down, or simply a 1-arm or 2-arm seated row. Okay, 5. Not bad. Thought I would have been getting 3, but better than I thought. Okay, now bear crawl. So I'm gonna do a boxer bear crawl. I'm gonna move forward, side, back, side. So forward, side, back, side, and then reverse. Back to start, and done. All right, so if you want, do that one more set, okay, on your own, followed up with your conditioning. Conditioning can be 20 to 30 minute walk, 20 to 30 minute bike ride, or 20 to 30 minute interval training, or sorry, not interval training, rowing. Or you can do interval training for 4 to 8 minutes, 10 seconds on, 20 to 30 seconds off, 4 to 8 rounds for your HIIT training. So either HIIT or conditioning after your strength. All right, hopefully you enjoyed this. Leave a comment. Check out my YouTube page. Follow, subscribe.